Hey guys, so I just want to talk about this topic about being Asian culture. Well, there's some stuffs that are like being part of Asian culture. It's more high expectations, especially me when I was like with my family in this Asian culture, I kind of experienced some negative things in life. They just expect a lot. They expect you to do like better. It's like you're competing with your cousins or your sisters. They compare your majors to, like, for example, like my major is film. They don't like that, so they kind of like discriminate me in a way. They look at my cousin as like, oh, he's a pharmacy as a sample, because he's doing better than me. I think that it impacts your health and your mental health, especially being Asian culture. They don't show love and affections like in the way like American people do, like hugs and kisses. Asian likes more like compliment, like in, like, for example, like this Chinese word they say, oh, ho chong ming. It means like you're so intelligent. You're so smart, better than others. They want their kid to be the number one in life. I think that Asians are like a show-off person because it kind of like made me realize, like, when you show off, like, you're so smart, you're holding like designer bag, for example. It's like Asians show off too much. Like, it's trying to like saying that we're better than others, but I think it's not. I'm not trying to like go racist on Asians, but I'm going like perspective and stereotype way, how people talk about, being Asian period cultures. Like, their kids always want, like, it's like I'm annoyed of like what my parents say. I like being Asian culture really sucks. It's just like really strict rules and there's like they don't know how to set the boundaries. They always cross your line. Your parents get into business, especially they will like judge you behind your back and tell your uncles and aunts stuff. Like, your parents would do that and talk behind your back, especially part of Asian cultures like that. It could be due to like Vietnamese culture. It could be from like Asian culture, any other Asian culture. I think that all cultures are not perfect in this world. When I took a class about gender study, it made me realize about expectations, why female male are like that in certain stereotype way, especially I don't really like appreciate like being Asian culture. I think my grandma was saying something like, about my cousins and my sister and me. They're saying that whoever gets married first get the most love out of everyone in this house. And I know that's not going to be me because I wasn't born first. I know it was going to be my cousin or my sister that are going to get married first because I'm still in school, in college. So, yeah. So, there's a lot of myths, Asian myths, belief, these kind of myths, especially like, let me describe you about this kind of myth thing. So, I will always get yelled when I shake my leg, for example, when I eat dinner, right? So they think that Asian culture is like, oh, if you shake your leg, it's like you're shaking all your money away. It's like you're begging for money. Like, you're going to be poor if you keep shaking your leg. My mom would say that. My grandma would say that. They believe in this Asian crazy myth, especially if they don't like the number 4. So the number 4 is like a bad luck number. It means like, in Chinese, they call say. It means like you die, number 4. Okay. So, it's about like number. They don't use the number 4, but I don't believe these crazy things because I know other cultures, they believe in some numbers that are bad luck too, but I think it's just like a myth. Yeah, who knows? I just put it on perspective. Like I said, people have right and wrong answers, what they think about Asian culture, especially. Yeah, I know that people, if you're gay, for example, it goes above that perspective, expectations, like standards. Like, your parents are not gonna like that if they found out you're gay or transgender, for example. Like, for example, if I was gay and like, but I'm straight, let's put that as a sample, like, they will kick me out of the house. They'll be like, I don't want my son or my daughter to be this kind of type of person. And it kind of crosses your boundaries too because they're crossing that line and they have expectations, especially. Yeah. And then part of it, it's like saying if you're lesbian or gay, like, your mom, your dad's gonna like be so sad. They're just like, okay, like, it's so hard to raise your kids. They're gonna talk in their perspective of Asian culture. They'll be like, it's so hard to raise you guys as a teenager. They'll say that. I feel like all adults can relate to that, like, circumstances, expectations too. Like, I just feel like it's just too much, that Asian parents are really controlling too. Um, they're gonna control your life a lot. They will judge little things and criticize you no matter what. That's why, like, I'm talking about this topic because I'm going through something too personal, but I'm not gonna go deep into that. Because, my dad will always, like, judge bad qualities of me and, like, my mom, but I'm doing, like, at least I'm in college. Like, I'm the first generation person to change that role. Because, people, I think that Asian cultures, they can migrate from different world too, especially if your family escaped from the Vietnam War. That causes the different generation, you get what I'm saying? Like, you have to see a perspective, like, maybe your parents went through something that they weren't happy and they're jealous of you because you're, like, in the US now, California, for example. I think that, this kind of perspective conversation about Asian culture, it's really broad. It's huge. There's a lot that people go through in life, especially this depression world. Like, right now, I believe people are really depressed out there, to be honest. If you look at a community and you walk and observe different things, and you look at perspective, you understand why people are like that certain way. I know that, like, Asians will get teased by people too, especially they make fun of, like, Asians, stuff like that. It happens, but yeah. As you can tell my face, I don't like being Asian culture, yeah. I don't really, yeah. But yeah, I'm just hoping that I have my own place one day, and just move out from my parents. I just need to get away from this toxic energy vibe in my house. But I'm still in college, trying to figure life out, especially. And I know California property is expensive too. And it's not easy to afford a house down in California. That's what I was told. It takes a lot of research and looking at stock market, like the marketing too. It's crazy because there's a pattern when you buy houses, it increase and then it decrease, it drops down. It's based on the economy too. They look at, and they look at percentages too, mortgages too. Yeah. But yeah, I'm learning, like, every day, I'm always gonna learn no matter what. So always do your research and figure out why. If your parents, like, treat you not really nice, then you should always do your research and put it in perspective. Like, go make friends, there's people that are nice out there, to be honest. Like, I met, like, this guy, like, out of nowhere. He's a security guard, and he's so nice. Like, I just talked to him, and he was like, oh, we're just here to protecting your store. Because I was working, and I was having a conversation with him, so... yeah, people are nice, so I agree with that. There's pros and cons in life, but I learned that, being happy is really important because you want to be healthy. You want to, like, cause a crime scene. Like, if you are really depressed, I'd rather have you, like, go see a psychiatrist and take a medication, get healed right away, because anything that you do in crime in California, they could accuse you of that, and they don't let you go easily too. I know about the law about misdemeanor, and then there's felony. Felony is more worse. Felony is basically you're gonna go straight to jail if you if you kill someone. That's felony. Misdemeanor is just like a warning. Basically describes that, okay, oh, you got, like, for example, you carry something, and then that's called misdemeanor, and they mark that as a warning. So yeah, I think that no one should do these things. It's bad anyways, but that's why I was, like, mentioning mental health is really important. Take your blood test, figure out what's going on wrong with you. I think that people are just depressed, and sometimes it controls you, and there's no way out of it, of fighting this depression, especially this generation. It's really, like, depressing. So yeah, but I try to figure out, like, well, what I can, like, share out what I know, and then share to people. That way they learn from each other, especially the history repeats itself. Yeah, I just don't like being Asian culture, yeah. Because, like, when I was, like, a little kid, I feel, like, isolated and discriminated, because my grandma would always favorite my cousins, and then my sisters and my little brother instead of me. I felt left out when I was a little kid, to be honest. It was, like, a sad thing. I didn't get what I wanted, I had to work for it. That's why I have a job. I save up, take care of myself, figure out things out. Like, you gotta figure out your resources on your own. Like, go get help, Your family's not gonna do the work for you, that. I think family's not gonna change. It's crazy when someone told me about families. It's that people change, their behavior starts changing, you know, as you grow up. Like your maturity like starts changing too. It's like your perspective thinks differently. Like your family might think the opposite way. They might not agree with you with certain things that you said, and that's kind of sad, right? Because they don't agree with you, and it's hard because like they don't think good things about you. Maybe your decision or choice is not so good, that they judge you too. It could be that too. I learned that, you know, your aunts and uncles are gonna change. These people are gonna change no matter what. You can't change them at all. They're the way they are, you know, especially in this culture, you know. So yeah. I'm not gonna lie, my parents can be really greedy sometimes. They don't give money to their child in Asian culture. They expect you to work for it. They don't give money. They're like greedy people, but they do nice things, you know. At the same time, they treat you to buy food, but they don't buy you gifts for Christmas or holidays, you know. They're not that type of people that where they want to buy you stuff during Christmas. But yeah, if you are lucky and you have Americanized like parents and Asian, then it's a whole different story. Like they're gonna buy you gifts for holidays, you know. For example, if your mom dated like a white guy, like that's stereotype way, like not to be racist, but it's more like American way, you know. Like you wish you were like raised in an American way, right? Raising in the Asian way, it's more expectations. They push boundaries on you, and they expect you to do better than people, you know. They compare yourself to your relatives. Like, you know, if you have relatives from out of state, your parents are gonna like compare, like, oh, I want you to do better than my other relatives because they're more like a sharp, they're more wealthy people on that side, you know. Then they look at your people, like what kind of stuff that you guys have, and they kind of like criticize that, you know. I think that Asians always want to be the number one in this world. It's crazy, and that's why, you know, why China's really wealthy, because they push the kids to do well. But to be honest, like, you know, I disagree with that, because I feel like anyone can be successful in this life in different cultures, you know. It's kind of sad, like, when you see, like, stereotype race, like, who does better, and, like, I think it just crosses the boundaries line, you know, especially. I mean, for me, I wish I got into university. I didn't know about the SAT in high school, you know. That kind of screwed me up. I wish I did got into university. I wish I was smart, you know, to get into university, but I'm not smart at all. I mean, like, I am sort of, you know, but I don't want to say, like, I'm dumb, you know. Like, that puts your self-esteem more, like, down, especially, you know. I think that people learn differently, too. It's just like how you learn. There's visual learners, there's sound auditory learner. You should discover like your learner, what type of learner you are. That way you can like focus on that strength and how you can like achieve your success. That's how I know there's websites that you can take to see your talents and like what kind of learner you are. That's really important to figure that out, because, you know, people learn differently, and some people are fast learners, some people are slow learner. Like I said, yeah. I hope you guys like this video, and thank you. Please like and subscribe.